Hi, I'm Anne-Marie from BrambleBerry.com and SoapQueen.com. Today, I'm going to show you how to make this amazing Mermaid Ombre Melt and Pour soap. It features an ombre effect with plenty of sparkle. This soap also uses Yuzu fragrance oil, which is a bright citrus scent. All the ingredients for this soap are at a kit at BrambleBerry.com. The kit contains everything you need to make this soap, including colored, printed out instructions and pre-printed labels. Let's quickly go over what's inside the kit. First, you get this amazing silicone loaf mold. This is essential for pouring the soap into to get this beautifully layered look. The kit also includes 2 pounds of Stevenson's Ultra Clear Melt and Pour soap. It's fantastic because it really helps the glitter pop. Speaking of glitter, the kit also contains iridescent glitter. You'll receive 1 of the hydrated chrome green colorant blocks, as well as a spray bottle to put your rubbing alcohol in. Finally, you'll get that wonderful Yuzu fragrance oil. The spray bottle is meant to hold 99% rubbing alcohol. That 99% rubbing alcohol is very important to helping the layers stick together and also for a finishing touch to pop those bubbles that form on the top of the soap after you spray it. The rubbing alcohol is not included in the kit, but you can find it at most any drugstore. Let's get started. First, remove the soap from the container. Okay, now chop it in half. It's okay to eyeball it. Now chop it into smaller, uniform pieces. The more small and uniform your pieces are, the easier this melts down in the microwave. Place the remaining soap back into the container to save for another project. We're only using half of it. I'm using the Easy Pour container for BrambleBerry.com. I love this container because it makes it so much easier to pour into the mold because of that long pouring spout. Place the container in the microwave with the melted cut up soap. Melt it in 30-second bursts in the microwave. This amount of soap will probably take between 1.5 and 2 minutes to melt depending on the strength of your microwave. My soap is mostly melted, and so I'm just checking it. I see that there's a little bit left in the bottom of it, but I also see that there's steam coming off my soap, which means it's really hot. I'm just gonna keep stirring and let the last of the melt and pour soap melt in gently rather than placing it back in the microwave and risk burning the soap or boiling the soap. Once the soap is completely melted, add a full teaspoon of glitter and mix in. Now add between 10 to 15 milliliters of Yuzu fragrance oil. How much you use is up to you. I personally like a very strongly scented bar, so I'm going with the full 15 milliliters. To create the ombre effect, we'll be pouring small amounts of soap into the mold from lightest to darkest. In fact, this first layer doesn't even use any color. So, pour a little bit of that soap that's colored with the glitter and scented already into the bottom of the mold. You're really going for just a very small layer. Of course, if you've decided you don't want a full 8 layers, pour a little bit more. The amount of layers you want is up to you, but the more layers you have, the more sophisticated that ombre soap is going to look. Once you have the soap in the mold, spritz with rubbing alcohol to get rid of any bubbles and then set to the side. While you're waiting for that to harden, let's work on our first layer. Take a very little bit. I'm talking literally like the amount on your pinky, like a very small amount of that hydrated chrome green color block and put it into your already scented, already glittered soap. Now stir it in. You'll notice that it's starting to melt, and if it's not melting, you can put your soap back in the microwave for about 7 to 10 seconds. Don't do any more than that. Remember, we don't want boiling soap. We don't want burned soap. Keep stirring. Okay, now, beautiful. This is fully melted in. Now check that first layer of soap. How is it looking? You can kind of press your finger into it very lightly. What you want to see is that your finger's not breaking through. That layer, that first layer, needs to be hard enough and cool enough to support that second layer of soap. And I can see that this is a really good consistency. My finger is able to go just a little bit down, but there's definitely a thick enough skin that'll support the second layer. So I'm spritzing with a little bit of rubbing alcohol. And now just pouring another layer in there. And again, this layer isn't that much because I need to fit a full 8 layers in my particular bar of soap. Spray with rubbing alcohol to get rid of all those bubbles. And now add a little bit more hydrated chrome green while you wait for that second layer to harden. The way this ombre works is we're increasing the amount of hydrated chrome green in a smaller and smaller amount of soap until you get that very dark color at the very top of the bar. When that next layer is ready, remember we want it to make sure that we'll be able to hold the weight of that third layer. You can pour in your darker green soap. Make sure to spritz with rubbing alcohol before you pour it and after you pour it. I'm just going to continue this process, but I'm not going to make you watch me do it. If you don't want to eyeball your soap and you really want these layers to be extra precise, you can always pop this onto a scale and weigh out each layer to make sure they are perfectly even every single time. So if you really want perfect layers, you can totally do that. Again, I'm going with 8 layers. You can go with as little or as many as you want. I made this soap ahead of time so I could pop it on camera. The way you pop these soaps out, it's very, very easy. You break the airlock first, so pull gently away from the sides, then turn the soap over and just push gently down. Do you see how the airlock is breaking? There you go. Airlock is breaking. And now you kind of have a big loaf of soap that's stuck in there. Gonna give it some wobbles, let it pull away from the side, get it out. There we go. Now to cut this, you use a sharp, non-serrated knife. This loaf can be cut like a traditional bar soap like this, or you could take the entire loaf and you could cut it in blocks like this and make little cool squares too. So keep that in mind when you're planning your project. And cutting straight down firmly. You can really see the glitter because I cut this bar just a little bit small. Let me cut a bigger bar so you can see how it looks with a more normal size bar of soap. So here we go, thicker. Here we go, side by side. So very, very, very transparent. What a gorgeous looking bar of soap. I love it. Now the only thing left to do is cut our labels and put these labels on. So just take a normal scissors, cut, and try and put this in the middle of your bar. There we go. And then fold around it and take a piece of tape, put it on the back of the bar, and there you go. We have beautifully finished labeled bars of soap. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of Soap Queen TV. Until later, happy soaping. The kit also comes with full printed out color instructions and print out downloadable labels. It's not downloadable, they're already printed. I said print out downloadable. What the hell? Yeah.
Pre-printed.
Pre-printed, that sounds good.